Welcome back. I am now charging my battery. Fellow, nothing like that person when he arrived at the hospital as far as I remember. If I may, Lord Van Zieks. While I realize it is forbidden for the prosecution to interject during a summation examination, I should inform the defense that I have the pouch in question in the antechamber outside the courtroom. Sorry? As I understand it, when the police arrived on the scene and found Mr. Sholmes injured, they removed the pouch in order to assess the wound. Ah, thank goodness. I think I was getting forgetful for a moment. Since then, it has been in my safekeeping along with all the other evidence related to the case. I can personally vouch for the fact that it has not been touched since the incident occurred. Very well. While extremely unconventional during a summation examination, I must demand that the prosecution present the item in question with all speed. Bring the pouch. I see. So this pouch worn by Sholmes on the night in question, is it? Look at that. On the files it's broken and the leather around it is scorched black. It's almost as if the file exploded. Exploded? So, that night, the bullet from the Skulkin Brothers gun struck Mr. Sholmes' pouch, and was the glass file exploding that caused the fellow's injury. This bullet did not penetrate victim, but was deflected into wall of shop. A delightfully complex aroma. Well, it would appear one mystery has been solved at least. Though it has no bearing on the truth of this case. The bangling and burgling of brothers shot the detective, and the accused shot the pawnbroker. The pertinent facts of the case remain unaltered. But at least the mystery is solved. I can sleep easy tonight. Thank you, young man. Da, thank you very much. Glad I could help. Due to the bang on the contract none to solve, the court will sequester the Scruffy pouch as evidence. Hurley's pouch isn't Scruffy. It's really scorched badly in here. Oh, the strap is broken, look. This must be where the bullet hit, then. Let's see. Hello, third bullet! What the? Iris, look! Behind where the broken file was. Do you see it? That's the Skulkin Brothers bullet. What struck a luck that it hit this pouch? It's an amazing discovery. What this means is, there were 3 bullets fired at Windybanks that night. We found exactly what the juror was talking about. The third bullet. It's time to press that juror again, I think. Please, my lord. A little more time. After all, that's a new piece of evidence. It could be a valuable clue, and you can't afford to overlook anything here, Rensuke. That's it. That's all there is to turn around somehow. I'm sure of it. Allow me to show you then the third bullet.
Take that!
Here it is. We discovered it just now. Yes, on the night in question at Windybank's pawnbrokery, another bullet was fired.
Hold it!
What is this new trickery, you Nipponese conjurer? Where did you find that bullet? It was lodged inside Sholmes' pouch. What? This pouch was removed from around Sholmes' waist before he was taken to the hospital, and since then it has been touched by no one. Dude, you mean to say the shots fired by Skulkin Brothers that night? Yes, as your lordship has surmised, it hit this pouch. But that makes no sense whatsoever. We already know the whereabouts of the bullet fired at Mr. Sholmes. It's clearly visible in its photographic print. Ah. 2 guns in the scene have already been submitted to court record as evidence. Yes, that of Mr. Windybank and that belonging to the Skulkin brothers. And an examination of both guns revealed that only a single bullet had been fired from each. But that must mean... That's right. We now know that in the night of question 3 bullets were fired. However, only 2 bullets were fired from the guns recovered from the crime scene. And until that incontrovertible inconsistency is somehow explained, we cannot and must not pass judgment. Definite, Order, order, order. While the summation examination remains incomplete, the court has been presented with new facts. Facts that would appear to shake the very foundations upon which the case against the defendant has been built. As in my prerogative in this situation, I hereby temporarily suspend the summation examination. By Jupiter. What? Bailiff, bring the witnesses back to the stand at once. Witnesses. Governor, were you listening to the proceedings while the defense carried out the summation examination? We was, Governor, we was. Perhaps we can dispense with the tedious preamble. Simply answer this one question. A 3rd bullet had been identified at the scene of the crime. What do you make of that? Make of it, Gov. I don't make nothing out of nothing if I can't help it. Num? Is it one of yours? Goblominy, Gov, goblominy, not a chance. In that case, did you have an accomplice? What? Eh, what? Never. The Skulkin brothers work alone. It's just the 2 of us, that's our trademark. How soon we forget poor Sulky. Only 2 of the bullets from the crime scene originated from the firearms we have in the evidence. The 3rd bullet was fired from another gun. Where is it? Lummy, that's an eat scratcher. Counsel for the defense. Yes. I should like to hear your thoughts regarding these new developments. The 3rd bullet and into the mysterious missing firearm from when it came. Thinking back over all the testimony we've heard and all the evidence we've seen, I think I'm starting to form a picture of what really happened that night. My lord, I think it's clear what the 3rd bullet tells us about the Skulkin brothers. On that night at Windybank's pawnbrokery, the brothers must have been working with a 3rd man. The witnesses are clearly doing their best to cover up the existence of this accomplishment, but the evidence all points to the fact that there was someone else present, someone carrying a gun.
Objection!
Accomplice, you say? Pigswill. These protracted proceedings have already fooled us to endure 2 summation examinations. Yet in all that time, there has been not a murmur of a 3rd man. If this apparently race-like being exists, the court must be shown hard evidence. Without it, this fantasy will be crushed. Prosecution demands answers on 2 counts. Firstly, proof, evidence, that this accomplice was ever at the scene of the crime. And secondly, the identity of this suspicious character. The Skulkins are lying, I know that. But, how can I ascertain the identity of the person they're hiding? Well, counsel, I'm supposed to prove the existence of this accomplishment and reveal the person's identity even. In response to the prosecution's demand, my lord, the defense is... Let's pretend we're ready. Defense is ready. I believe I can provide all the answers the prosecution demands. So, my Nipponese friend, despite the swimming eyes, you seem to think you have something to say. This promises to be interesting. I have to push forward now. There's no other option. I need to use every single piece of evidence available to me if it will make a difference. In that case, counsel, I would like to ask you to present the evidence without delay. On the night in question, in the moments leading up to the death of the victim, what proof have you there was a 3rd intruder present at the scene?
Take that!
The evidence is this. Okay, we're gonna load. No, no, no. I'm not doing what I thought I was about to do. Not again. Not after last time. We have a third bloodstain.
Take that!
The evidence is right here, in this portfolio. By Jove, that portfolio again, is it? Do you expect the court to rifle through your papers itself? Be more specific. You claim one of those blood samples proves the presence of a third intruder. Well, which one is it? That
Take
one.
that!
What am I looking at here? There appears to be some green paint and such like around the bullet hole in the middle of the calendar. That's a bloodstain, my lord. A bloodstain. Green blood. Curious even for you. Is the court to understand the intruder was some unhuman creature? It's something developed by Mr. Herlock Sholmes. By the great detective. New invention. Stop. Not yet appeared in story. Stop. It's this, you see. It doesn't have a name yet, though. This fogger sprays a chemical that reacts with the different elements in people's blood to change its color. Different elements? Of people's blood? Yes. Everyone's blood is slightly different, you see, because it's made up of different elements. So by seeing what color it changes to, you can tell in a flash whose blood it is. Oh, that brings a whole extra dimension to looking at blood. Talk of blood in courtroom. Stop. Very exciting. Stop. As an example, this one shows the blood of the victim, Mr. Windybeak. Ah, striking blue. Yes, so you see the green color of this bloodstain on the calendar shows that somebody else was shot in the main part of the shop. Now, hold the fire there, young man. Could it be from some unrelated incident, couldn't it? No, it's not unrelated. The date showing the calendar is the date on which Mr. Windybank was killed. By golly. Therefore, we can assume that whoever was shot on the same day. Then whose blood is it? Well, the Skulkin brothers in the stand don't appear to be suffering any gunshot injuries. Which means it must be little blood of someone else. The third intruder, in fact.
Objection!
Whose identity the court is still waiting to hear. You can't delay this any longer, my learned friend. Who is the alleged third intruder?
Take that!
The man's name is Eggert Benedict. Eggert Benedict, who on earth are you talking about, counsel? He paid a visit at Windybank's pawnbroker in the afternoon before the incident took place, when the accused attempted to deceive the pawnbroker into releasing the article into her possession. That's right. The man identified by the defense, Mr. Eggert Benedict, then attempted to take the article from the defendant by force. Broker, yes, sir? I believe this filthy pocket thief has just redeemed an article from you, no? Yes, the article in question belongs to me. I demand for it to be returned at once. Now that's a lie. What are you trying to pull? Give me back my overcoat, you wastel. And needless to say, any music box this too. Hey, he does the same movement. Inspector Gregson was there at the time and can attest to what happened. In the end, it was the inspector himself who took the disc. Can you corroborate this account, Inspector? Yes, my lord. There's more or less what happened. And in the interest of being thorough, I asked Windybank for a print showing the fellow. Taken from his red-handed recorder Gobbiness. Yes, that's him talking to Mr. Windybank that morning. And you claim this man is the Bees Brothers' accomplice. Well, Mr. Skulkin? Never seen the geezer before in my life. All my life, Governor, all my life, never seen him. Well, somewhat unsurprisingly, it appears our witnesses disagree with the assertion. I'm sure your lordship recalls my learned Nipponese friend's actual assertion, which was that he could prove the identity of the alleged accomplice. Yes, and I can. Then show us the evidence. I agree. We must see proof the clean-cut gentleman in the photograph is a filthy criminal you say he is. This is the last piece of evidence. I've had a feeling that something has been missing since the trial from the very start, but now I'm going to drag him kicking and screaming into the courtroom. Are you ready to present your answer to the court then, counsel? Yes, my lord. The defense will present the evidence now. Proof that the man pictured in his photograph or print was in fact the person struck by the third bullet.
Take that!
As I mentioned before, on the afternoon of the day in question, the defendant attempted, deceitfully admittingly, to reclaim this disc from Windy Banks, which was then aforementioned Egbert Benedict appeared on the scene, I believe. This man then attempted to purloin the article from the defendant's possession, no? That's correct, my lord. I myself was present at the time. It was following this that a minor incident occurred. But of course, sir, here is the disc for you. Very well. Then I shall bid you as farewell. Say goodbye to style. Wait a minute. That disc is mine. What do you think you're doing, you little tramp? You've drawn blood, you filthy animal. Being a music box disc has countless small but sharp metal perfusions over its surface. Those perfusions caused Mr. Benedict's finger to bleed, and the resulting smear of blood is still visible on the disc now. Goodness, a bloodstain, is it? My assistant and I have just analyzed the bloodstain here in this very courtroom, using my trusty fogger gun. Yes, and we added the results to this portfolio. I say it's green. It's exactly the same color as the blood around the calendar. The evidence is conclusive. The man calling himself Mr. Egbert Benedict, who was at Windy Banks earlier in the day, is the accomplice who was present at the scene of the crime that same night. So there was someone else there. Look at those two brothers now. They're sweating buckets. Boy, what are you talking about? It's boiling in you. My lord, in the opinion of the defense, that Mr. Egbert Benedict should be summoned to the courtroom to testify. It would certainly seem that we can ill afford to ignore this gentleman's apparent presence.
Objection!
This has gone long enough now. This flagrant ignorance of the mechanics of law. Herlock Sholmes, you say. Yes, I've heard the name. Protagonist in a series of short stories with the vulgar classes, a god of detection or some such. And now you employ chemical substances devised by this fanatical persona in the highest court in the land? Do you expect us to take you seriously? The samples made by this plaything are not fit to be called evidence. So the bloodstain turned a shade of green. What of it? Here's to you successfully proving that no other blood in the world could turn the same color. Ah, well. And pray, do not even think of suggesting that we should take Mr. Sholmes' word for it. Is he right? Mr. Sholmes' concoction a load of rubbish? I don't know. I mean, he's a great detective. What are you talking about? We can't let him get away with that. If I knew it would come to this. Of course, Mr. Sholmes' invention isn't going to be recognized by any official body. But, what other choice do I have? I just remembered what Father Christmas over there said before. About how he was temporarily suspending the summation examination. In other words, the examination isn't over yet, is it? Good grief. What did you just say, young girl? And in the summation examination, the decision as to whether or not the trial continues is in the hands of the 6 jurors, isn't it? So, the way I see it, it doesn't matter what certain other people think of Harley's invention. At least, not for now. Yes, she's right. Young lady, you have quite a devious mind. It really just comes down to one thing. Whether these ladies and gentlemen of the jury are convinced by what you say, Bruno. Is that about right, would you say? Or did I misunderstand something? Unbelievable. Mr. Sholmes' partner is a force to be reckoned with. Dude, Iris is so fucking boss. Iris Wilson, sharpshooter. After that, shrewd assesses the situation from an entirely unexpected source. It must be acknowledged that the previous summation examination is yet to reach its conclusion. This is absurd. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court now looks to you for your final leanings in this matter. As proud citizens of Her Majesty's Britain, I'm sure you will come to fair and just conclusions. So then, state your final decisions in turn, please.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
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 Not guilty.
Two call guilty and four call not guilty. Such is the outcome of the summation examination.
Objection.
My lord, with all due respect, this is an outrage. The prosecution refuses to accept this decision. On what grounds? If these jurors are persuaded by some half-baked concoction devised by a pretender to real police work, then they are too ignorant to be trusted with the judgment of anyone's guilt. I'm sorry, Lord Van Zieks, but the outcome of the summation examination cannot be ignored. This trial will continue. The surgeon himself. Nevertheless, we find ourselves in a rather awkward situation. The defense has very reasonably requested the subpoena of a new witness. But sadly, I fear that will be impossible. What? The name of the gentleman given for himself, Egbert Benedict, is quite clearly false. I don't believe it. Just what did I manage to prove the man was there that night? Could I say something? What was that, please? Who spoke? It was me, my lord. Juror number 5. What have you to say, madame? If possible. Inspector. Eh? Me? Madame? I wonder if you might show the photographic print to me again, the one in which the gentleman is shown. Ah, right, yes, this one you mean. Of Mr. Benedict. I swear this case is going exactly where I think it's going. And I don't like it. Are we implying, in some way, shape, or form, that Herlock Sholmes is Eggs Benedict? Yes. There's no doubt in my mind. Juror number 5, if you don't mean to say. You know this man. Yes, I know him. What? No. Good gracious. Or are they two completely different people? Order, order, order. Juror number 5, how on earth? I'm a communications officer, stop. As we can clearly see, gotta work in the morning? You have yourself a good night, Zero. Have a good day at work. As we can clearly see, the gentleman in the photograph is also a communications officer, stop. He works in my office, stop. A very talented operator, in fact, stop. He should be in the communications station now, stop. Tapping away on the telegraph, stop. This doesn't seem right somehow. I can't put my finger on why, but it doesn't feel right. It's supposed we all imagine the accomplice would be some sort of hardened criminal. It's a bit unexpected to find out that he has a respectable job by day, whenever he gets up at night. Yes, I suppose that's it. I suppose that's why I felt something was wrong. The gentleman is at London's communication station. We should be able to subpoena him within an hour. Lord Van Zieks, if you please. Yes, my lord. Make the necessary arrangements with all haste. That's what I was thinking. They were both in the same room, and that's the only reason I'm kind of going on my own theory. But they also gave us a very foreboding answer. in the last game, something big happened. Turned out to be someone we didn't expect. They said the same frickin' line, which was, eliminate the impossible and only what remains is true. Court will recess for 1 hour. When the new witness arrives, we shall reconvene to hear the gentleman's testimony. Inspector Gregson. Yes, my lord. I should like to hear from you specifically about events at the pawnbroker in the day in question. Come to my chambers during recess. Yes, sir, my lord. Very well. Court is adjourned until 1:40 p.m. And I hate to say it, I am ending it here for today, for this game. We're going to finish this on Saturday morning. Next week. Why am I doing so? Because I feel like Shiro has to be here for this. It's not right, you know? That's part of it, and the other part of it is I need to get caught up on my uploads to this point anyways. I am absolutely starving with beyond a trace. So I'm going to go and cook myself some food. Then I'm going to be playing some Apex later. Yeah, feel free to join me. I will see you guys later in about an hour's time. Hopefully I don't fall asleep this time. You guys have yourselves a good night.